Aloha class, today I will be sharing the poem Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. Um, so as we go through the poem, I'll just be sharing things that I learned from it, what my analysis is, and what the messages were that I got from the poem. Before I go into the poem, I'd just like to introduce the poet, himself, Robert Frost, and just a few interesting facts I found about him. I realized when you do learn, just a brief background about the author or the poet, it brings a bit more context to the poem itself, and allows it allowed me to make a bit more sense of what the message I think he is trying to convey through the poem. So, who was this Robert Frost? Well, he was an American poet. He was born on the 26th of March 1874 and passed away on the 29th of January 1962. He attended Harvard for about 2 years, from 1897 through to 1899, where he dropped out due to some health issues that he was having. He was not only a poet, but he was a farmer, an editor, and a teacher as well, and that's how he provided for his family. And another interesting fact about Robert Frost was out of his 6 children, he lost 4 of them. They passed away. It was due to illnesses that they had. One of the 4 children actually committed suicide, and another one of the 4 children passed away only a few weeks after they were born. So you can imagine, it would have been a pretty tough time for him. A lot of grief, I guess, that he went through. In an interview, he said these words in the quotes marks. In the words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on. And I thought that was a perfect tie into the poem itself. Nothing gold can stay. So let's get into it. So a few things that I asked myself before really delving into the poem and analyzing it were these few questions, which helped me, I guess, to get the most out of his poem, that I'd like to invite you as the class to ask yourself as well, so that you can get the most out of this poem too. Some questions include why do you think Robert Frost wrote the poem in such a way? I guess now that we have a brief understanding of his background and his life and what he went through, what messages do you receive from the poem? How can you apply the poem into your own life? And what do you find most interesting about the poem? So by asking myself these questions, it kind of opened me to a wider perspective when I went through and read the poem myself. So here is the poem. Nothing gold can stay. Nature's first green is gold, her heart is hued to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. I'll just read it again. Nature's first green is gold, her heart is hued to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. So I did find there were a few techniques that Robert Frost used in the poem. Here are some. If I just go back, the first sentence is nature's first green is gold, which was a metaphor. How he compares nature's first green to gold. And when you think of gold, gold is like the most valuable, most precious thing. And he says that nature's first green is gold. So that reminds me of like winter, when winter comes and turns into spring. When you see that first green, it's like gold. But then he goes on, using personification in the second line. He says, her heart is huge to hold. Like, it's there, but it's so hard to hold on to it. And also that second line, he uses alliteration. Her heart is huge to hold. I guess, emphasizing that although nature's first green is gold, you can't literally hold it to keep it like that forever. He also uses alliteration in the second last line. So dawn goes down to day. Again, showing, that you can't hold something and keep it in the same position forever. So when dawn goes down and day comes, it's forever moving. It's constant change in life as well when you think about it. Nothing in life stays the same. Everything changes eventually. Timing doesn't stop. Our age doesn't stop. It keeps on going. That's what it made me think of. He also uses the arithmetic line, the couplet A A B B C C D D structure in the poem. The rhyming creates like a quick rhythm in the poem, like nothing gold can stay. Nature's first green is gold, her heart is huge to hold. Like, it's quick. And when you think about like life is quick as well, like life just flashes before your eyes. It's like a quick rhythm. He uses personification as well, saying nature is a her, and then heart is to like hold, like physical touching of nature, even though you can't physically touch nature, but by personifying nature, we're able to relate to it more, to ourselves, that um nothing is permanent. And there's also a tone of sadness, of things passing by. Like the language he uses is subside, sank in grief. He also uses imagery, nature, the gradual changes in nature and the seasons to make us, imagine it, like how seasons change. Our life is like season, it changes too. Symbolism is used as well. Nature, as I mentioned, gold, and how he compares leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. That biblical reference of how Adam and Eve left paradise. They eventually left, the heavens of earth. They left paradise and came into the fall of man. And also metaphor, like I mentioned before. So a few themes and messages that came from the poem. What I found was, the message is that mortality is brief, nothing good can stay, so enjoy the moment. Change is inevitable, it will happen, so we should just appreciate the moment we're in. It's part of life. Good things don't stay, but also another positive aspect is when we go through bad things, they won't stay either, because things change. We can't control time, but we can enjoy the moment. Life fades away, beauty and youth will fade, but that's more emphasized on why we should appreciate the moments while we have it. That just ties back to when he first said in the interview, life goes on. So although life goes on, things are out of our control, change and time is out of our control. It will just happen. The best way we can appreciate life is just by enjoying the moment, and that's what I got from the poem Nothing Gold Can Stay.